I don't judge the art blindly. But I try not to pay too much attention to the name of the artist before a chance has come to look at the scope of the image we choose to reproduce on our pages. When we were first reviving December, I published a sentiment about what I thought our priorities ought to be in choosing art for the magazine. And we felt that work which is about its own materials would suffer from reproduction because what matters most in this kind of art is a material presence that photographs only propose to exist elsewhere. So I've tried to focus the selection of portfolios on work that has a destiny for reproduction. Collage practices work wonderfully well for this. Most kinds of drawings, painting oriented towards the figural rather than the material. But in addition to the portfolios on the pages, we pick cover art. And I thought before I introduce Jane, I'd say a few words about the enormous group show that each December cover enters. The group show of all those other little magazines at Borders or at independent bookstores. Every choice of cover art is an entry of a picture into a field of pictures and images and drawings and illustrations. And we always try in choosing the art for the cover to have something that will give a browser pause. We know, as those of us in the audience who are working artists, that if we get 30 seconds of a viewer's attention, we have scored. 30 seconds of reading an essay is surely evidence of boredom and distraction. I think I'm right on this, Sylvia. So very quickly, I want to show you a couple of my favorites. Our very first issue, the revival issue, features a wonderful illustration from Douglas Dowd, my esteemed colleague at Washington University, who I hardly had to strong arm at all to spend a few hours in Paris making a drawing appropriate to our cover. And there she is, beneath an equestrian statue. Another favorite of mine is Ebony Patterson's detail from one of her wonderful installation projects, and Ebony has gone on to much bigger and better things in the art world since then. Apropos the previous reading, the centerpiece of this installation detail are family photographs that she has rephotographed and then scuffed and scratched to apply techniques of art making to an aging process that mostly occurs invisibly in the rustling of images against other images. This is probably everybody's all-time favorite for the magazine, Bethany Collins, an African-American artist I first encountered when I was a juror for an artist fellowship that she won. A visit to her studio as part of the final selection led me to notice on the floor of the studio a pile of pencil eraser shavings. And I asked her, is that art too? A pause. And then, well, yes. I save them, and I make little sculptures out of them. And the ingredients for this, it's called Bound, 1982, 2015, American Masters Paper and Pink Pearl Eraser. And every one of us who has put pen to paper in the service of one good word after another knows how many words are buried in this particular mound. Our last issue featured Julie Heffernan's Feast of Fools, a fabulous, more than life-size painting. And one of the best parts about my role at December is all the studio visits I get to make while imagining one work or another on the cover. It seemed clear to me after a visit to Julie's Brooklyn studio that an image like this is a metaphor of let's say, the crowds of culture or fear of culture that move through the social landscape. This painting, as is the case with many other images that have been on our cover, bear close looking at details. And I write in each issue a letter from the art editor trying to point to those details that I think would enhance or refresh your experience of the work. So, this brings me to